Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Nope, it's Tuesday night. It's weird. I never do podcasts on Tuesday nights, but I'm going to Disneyland in the morning. So we're moving things up. So we're getting ready to talk with Sean out in New Jersey about his trip last summer. So hang tight, sit with us, and preview Monday's podcast. We're gonna have some fun talking here. So we are gonna get cracking. All right, here we go. 2263. Welcome to episode 2263 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend. I know I did. I got to spend some time out at Disneyland on the West Coast, back home safe and sound, hopefully by now. Recording this one a little bit early, so who knows how the trip went. Looks to be a little soggy. But we'll have lots to talk about on Wednesday and Friday this week about all the happenings that are coming to the West Coast here with the Disney 100 celebration. It's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. And I think you're going to want to get out to the West Coast here in the next year. But anyway, we're talking about the present. We're talking about Walt Disney World today to get you excited for your summer trip. We're going back to last summer. We're going to talk about that to get you excited because summer trips are something magical about those. I don't know. I just like traveling in the summer myself. So we're heading out to New Jersey today with listener Sean. Sean, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good to be on.
All righty. So before we get into your trip, how about a little background? Why are you a Disney fan? Where did it all start for you?
Well, originally, everything started with the animated films. I watched them constantly when I was little, and I probably can still do scenes and lines of dialogue verbatim. I've watched them so many times. But my mother was the mastermind behind all the planning of our family trips. So it started it back in 1993. And then that was the year when Caribbean Beach Resort was brand new. So we stayed there that year. And then we didn't go back to Disney World until 1998, where Animal Kingdom was the brand new park. And plus, Coronado Springs was the newest resort. So we stayed there. And even still to this day, I will defend and say that still is the best Disney resort on property. I know it's biased, but I'm
So you're
I'm
saying
all in.
Coronado, you're saying.
Coronado Springs, yes.
Yeah, hey, I'm
I'm
right
sorry.
with you, Sean. I'm right because I've been singing the praises over the past 6 months of Coronado because I just got back there from Princess in February. And it just, I mean, it's kind of a pseudo deluxe hiding out there in the moderate category.
Indeed.
It's a good place. So you got to be there during really historic times, though. The very first, kind of non-deluxe hotel in Caribbean Beach. Because if you recall back, I mean, newer folks to this fandom might not know that back then, basically you just had deluxe resorts. You didn't have the values yet. Caribbean Beach was
Yeah.
basically your first value resort, which ended up being a moderate.
Yeah.
Interesting times. So, what do you recall from those trips, like your early trips? Because you were there. I hate to say that kind of that was almost the because I don't think Walt Disney World's ever like peaked, but is like in the fandom, I think everything goes through like peaks and valleys. The 90s, the mid 90s, the early 90s, I think that was a really great time because there was so much excitement, the just everything was new and fresh. And it seemed like the theming was just so rich with everything that Disney did down in Florida. So do you recall anything that really stuck out on those early trips for you that you really liked?
I always have this distinct memory on just with it's dinosaurs and it's at Epcot. And that was the year, I think Jurassic Park was released that year. So I was big on dinosaurs, and I just, I was like, I'm in Epcot, and oh, I get to see dinosaurs. And even with the Caribbean Beach Resort, I remember distinctively of the old hotel lobby at the very front. That when you had to check in, you had to take another shuttle bus in order to get to the main area, to the main resort. And so for those who've been to the Caribbean beach recently, that's not the case anymore. It's right in dead center.
Right. Yeah, you had the old customs house, which is long gone, which was kind of bizarre. Scott and I have talked about that. You arrived there, you thought, hey, I'm going to go to the food court, or I'm going to go to the here and there. Nope. The only thing that building was there for was check in. That was it. And then you had to go, here, there, and everywhere. Hey, I'm going to stop here for a second because you got all of a sudden you got static in your mic. I don't know if it's your
Oh,
headphones or something. Is it?
Probably my headphones.
It was fine the first couple minutes. So I don't know where it came from. It's just when you're talking, it's giving me static really bad. So I just want to make sure we get that knocked out real quick.
Okay.
You're still getting it. Can you figure out
Okay.
what that is?
It's probably just the headphones themselves. I mean, I can turn it off.
Let's see. Try it
That
and see if
helps.
it helps. Okay, try to talk.
How does that work?
Yeah, it's fine. That's better. That'll work.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. No, it's totally. I appreciate you trying the headphones, but we're good without them. Sometimes people get feedback and you're not getting it, so we're good. Okay, so we talked about the customs house. Okay, so let me set you up with the next thing. I'll edit that out. Let's see here. All right, so let's jump into your trip now. Today we're going to go back to last summer. You went last August, and we're going to kind of focus.
Actually,
on
it was June.
Okay, June. Okay, you contacted me in August. Yeah, you went last summer in June, which is exciting because we're quickly coming up on summer 23. So it's a unique time to go. So give us the background on this trip. When did you? So you were there in June. It was a solo trip, but how'd it come together for you?
Originally, it wasn't supposed to be a solo trip. Originally, my sister and her family.
Hang on, Tom. Your mic is breaking up again. I don't know if you got like a loose wire all of a sudden or something.
It's on my iPad, so I'm not sure exactly what's happening.
It didn't do it at first. It was totally fine.
And there's nothing else going on in the room right now.
It's totally breaking up. You sound kind of robotic.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. Let's see.
My Wi-Fi connection is perfect.
Here, let me try this. Let me boot you out and boot you back in. Just make sure it's not our connection through this software. So hang on. Just click back through into that link. Hang on, let me close it out.
Okay.
All right, let's see if this works.
How's it sound now?
Yep, now it sounds better.
Okay.
Oh, what was going on with that? Okay. All right, so I'll just edit that out. So let me write this down so I know the time. It's about 7.
Gotta love technology.
Oh my God. Always on the nights where you're in a hurry. Never fails.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. All right, so we're going to talk about this trip now that you took last summer, which is really interesting because summer's sneaking up on us now. I mean, Easter's coming up in the next week or so, and spring breaks come and gone for a lot of folks. So we're focusing on summer. A lot of folks get right headed down. I know you took a solo trip last June. So tell us about how that trip came together.
Originally, it wasn't supposed to be a solo trip. My sister wanted to come with her family. So the original plan was to get her and her family into a room. I'm a DVC member, so I made her a deal. I said, hey, if you can come up with the money for, flights and tickets and such, I can just, help you guys out, get a room, and then I'll just head on over to a different resort elsewhere and we could just meet up from time to time. But I knew her husband very well and I knew her son very well, and they really did not seem interested in going at all. But she was way more excited. So I gave her an ultimatum. I said, okay, let's try this. How about you come with me, brother and sister, to Disney World, old time's sake. I'll pay for your flight. I'll pay for the tickets. I will pay, get the room and have food covered. So basically a free Disney World trip. Unfortunately, she declined and she could not come up with the money to actually take her family down. And so, in just a funny way of thinking about it, I've asked many people about this, and I know you're a travel agent, so I might as well ask you. Have you ever encountered anyone that turned down a free trip to Disney World?
I'll tell you what, my wife could have gone with me to Disneyland this time. No, she said she wanted to stay home and work around the house. So I will say, as crazy as it sounds to Disney fans like us, that somebody would turn down a Disney trip. There are people out there that would rather stay home and do stuff around the house than go to Disney because it's just it's kind of where you are, I think, in your life at that point. I mean, while there's I enjoy going to Disney places, but I mean, there are times where I've turned down Disney trips to go to a football game. I'm totally
That
fine with
well,
that.
in your case, that's understandable.
Yeah. I mean, there's just different things that people have going on. And I understand, especially if if you have like a boyfriend or a husband or, a significant other, kids, and all those factors where they're drawing you one way and pulling you that way. It's
Yeah,
a tough call. But I mean, I will say it's super kind of you, though, to get that offer. I mean, you're right. I mean, you almost gave them an offer you couldn't refuse. A lot of
yeah.
folks would have said, I'll take your place.
And I've got that answer so many times when I actually told people that story. So, that was a common answer I always got. Why don't you take me?
I know that's very kind of you. You should have called
Yeah.
me. We'd have gone. We'd have had fun last June. Hey, we could have made it happen. But it's okay. So it turned into a solo trip, which a lot of times could be an opportunity. So tell me about it. So how did you make that merge, that change into okay? I'm still going to go down and have a good time.
Yeah, so I just quickly just had to book a room and I got flights and tickets on that same day. So it was very quick. And I normally always plan out everything a year ahead, even just like thinking of like, what restaurants do I want to hit this year? And so I normally plan all my Disney trips around dining. So because I'm a full time courier. I'm on the road all the time. I work out a lot, and I really do not have time to actually go out to certain places,
Mhm.
enjoy good food, hospitality, and such. So, when I go to Disney World, that's usually my opportunity to, dig in, go to nice fancy restaurants, signature restaurants, and try out some really good meals. And so this trip was definitely the moment to I can not only go to my favorite restaurants but also try new ones that were highly praised from many guests.
Yeah, you don't worry about anybody else. I mean, I've done these solo trips a few times now because of race weekends, especially races, but media stuff that I've gone down for. Like I'm going to Disneyland here in 12 hours as we're recording. Obviously, when this comes out, I'll have been back. But I'm already thinking, like, okay, Friday night, Rancho del Zocalo. That's my jam. That's where I'm having my meal. You're exactly right. You kind of plan out your trip by I'm going to do all these attractions, but this is where I'm going to have my meals. We're going to, a corn dog for lunch. We're going to have Rancho de Zocalo for dinner, things like that. So I totally get what you're saying. So, okay, walk us through the trip. So where did you end up staying in June?
My home resort is at Copper Creek, the Wilderness Lodge.
Nice.
So and I used Sunshine Flyer for the first time on that trip, and it went well. I mean, no complaints. I mean, by the time I checked in, I think it took about like 10 minutes for the bus to come around, and we took off, and we were the first resort. The next one was going to be at the Contemporary Resort for the drop off. But I gotta stop planning ahead when it comes to arrival to go into a park on that day. So
Hang
uh,
on, Sean. It's doing it again. It's really
uh,
bad. You're like a robot again. Why it's doing that? I can't put that out there because nobody will be able to understand it. It's like cracking up really bad.
is it bad still?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Dun, 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 dun. Man,
Hopefully, it's not my raspy voice.
so are you on a desktop or a laptop? Because it only works on
I'm
an
on an iPad right now.
oh, see, it doesn't work on an iPad. It doesn't work on
Oh,
mobile
okay.
devices. It has to be a desktop or a laptop.
Okay, I can switch to a desktop if it's possible to do it real quick.
Yeah, go ahead and try that, and we'll
Okay,
see if we can get that. If not, we can just reschedule, and I'll try to just maybe call Scott or something.
no problem. Here, let's do this right now. Uh, Sorry.
No problem. Here, so I'll boot you out and just come back in with that link.
You got it.
Okay. I hear you.
You can hear me?
Yep. I don't see you, but I can hear you.
Uh,
It doesn't matter if I can see you. I don't care if I can't see you. I'm just worried about the audio.
okay. How's the audio? Is it better?
Yep. It
Okay.
is better. Okay, so I'm gonna chop that part out where it was cutting up. So we'll go from there. Let me see. What did I ask you?
Okay,
Let me
there we
think.
go. I fixed that
Oh, there
now.
you are. Yeah, there you are. Okay, so I'm trying to think what I was asking. Is it you're telling me about Copper Creek? Okay, yeah. So let me ask you this again. Okay, hang on. All right, so tell us about where you stayed this trip because you got down there and you had to have a place to stay. So where'd you stay?
I stayed at Copper Creek. That's my DVC home resort, and I used Sunshine Flyer to get there, and it wasn't bad. It was really easy, and but I gotta stop planning on heading to the Disney parks on the day I arrive because I tend to seem to rush things because by the time I got to the resort, quickly went to bell services, dropped my bags, and then I went to the bus station, got on the bus, and as soon as the bus takes off, I get a text message. Your room's ready. It's
Nice. I
like,
never get that.
and
Yeah.
this was around 11:15 a.m. in the morning, and I'm thinking like, wow. I mean, and so, but it is what it was. So when I got to Magic Kingdom, I quickly go ahead and just hit to my number one favorite attraction of the park, which is Haunted Mansion. And
Good.
and Haunted Mansion is one of those rides that if I don't go on anything else in that park, if all other rides were, broken, closed down, if it thunderstorms and such, I still would just be happy that I at least got to go on Haunted Mansion.
I'm with you. That's a
Brings a
good
lot of
ride.
good memories.
That
Yeah.
on a mansion, people mover, and carousel of progress. That's a good day for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I kind of stuck around that area, so I was able to, skip over, go on to Mickey's Filler Magic, and I can't remember the last time I was in that theater, but I remember distinctively it was like with about 20 people tops, and because this attraction just reopened around that time, this place was filled to the brim. I wouldn't be surprised if I turned around and I actually saw people just standing because
Yeah.
all seats were filled. So everybody was just so happy that Filler Magic was reopened and everybody had a great time. And then I head over to Jungle Cruise, and then the skipper was okay. And you know, it was a couple good laughs, but it's great because I then had lunch at Skipper's Canteen at Jungle Navigation Company. A lot of people don't know about that restaurant, but I find it underrated and it's good food. But it's great that you can go from the Jungle Cruise to that restaurant and you basically just still continue on with the onboard jokes that
That's
they
a great point. I
continue to
mean,
do.
yeah, it's one of the few places where it's almost like you're dining inside an extension of the attraction. That's a great point. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, after that, time was cutting close, so I decided, might as well just get back to the resort and get all my rooms set up, and plus I had groceries coming in, and that's a very good tip for guests to start doing. Try to you know figure out ways to get lots of water and just snacks that you can just get for breakfast in the morning if you're want to wake up quickly and head out the door. So got all that set up, and then I always use bus transportation when I go to different resorts. So I had a dinner reservation at Flying Fish, and this was the first time I'd been there. So I took the Hollywood Studios bus and then just walked up the pathway up to the boardwalk. And when I sat down, ate the meal, and it's just one of those restaurants that I always regret and kick myself for not going there sooner, because you always hear so much good things about this restaurant. And then when you actually get to sit down and experience everything, it's like, wow, why wasn't I here sooner? I mean, like, how many times have I gone past this restaurant and never gone in? And it's just like, it's about time I did.
So, Sean,
I
let me
mean,
ask
they
you
have
about
this.
that because I've never been in Flying Fish, and I'm the same way. I've walked past it 100 times. I've stayed at the boardwalk. Pam Forrester on the show, it's her favorite restaurant at Walt Disney World. She talks about it all the time. So, what was it about it that you're like, whoa, this was a good restaurant? Tell us about it because I'm curious because
The,
I've still never been.
well, first the aesthetic. I mean, just the details and the beauty. Like they have these chandeliers up in the ceiling, and what they are is just a bunch of glass bubbles with fish swimming around it, just giving you this weird
Cool.
classy illusion that you are underwater, or so to speak, flying fish. So it was beautiful inside, and just the food. Like definitely have one of the best steaks on property there, and the service was great. Her name, I forget my sir. Oh yeah, server name was Katie. So thank you so much, Katie, if you're listening
Shout
to
out to
this.
you.
It was a good night. So definitely had a good time with that. So yeah, highly recommend Flying Fish if you ever get a chance.
I'm gonna go there.
And so
Just this summer,
yeah,
hopefully. So,
and
so,
next day, yeah.
real quick though, I want to hear about Copper Creek. So, just a brief overall the entire stay. Did it work out well? I guess you were in a studio. Or how did it work?
Yeah, I was in a deluxe studio, and I know the resort in and out, so it's very easy to get around. But sometimes I just love to just sit around, because they got some really fun, cozy areas. They got a fireplace up
Right.
in the second, third floor that some people miss out, and good rocking chair seats to look over the pool area at the very top level. So sometimes you just like, you pick a spot, you just sit and relax and listen to the resort music that plays in the background. Um,
Yeah.
so
I've
it's a very cozy resort, definitely.
I've had a few midday naps there. When I'm not staying there, I've just swung by that fireplace up on the fourth floor and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
knock it off
The
for a couple
best
minutes.
place, best place in the wintertime, definitely.
Yes, it is. It's the best place. It's not bad in the summer either, but it's better in the winter. Okay, now one of the things you mentioned in the email that was curious, you didn't go to the studios, and I want to ask you about that later. But okay, what'd you do this next day? You went to Magic Kingdom day one. Second day, what'd you do?
Um, Second day, Animal Kingdom, and I probably think Animal Kingdom will be my second favorite park behind Epcot. But I'm gonna share possible secret. A lot of people probably do this, but I don't know. It seems to work for me. But if you're gonna rope drop in Animal Kingdom, here's what you do to get three attractions out of the way if you're up for these attractions. Because everybody heads to the safari
Mhm.
or Flight of Passage, one or the other. But no one's at Navi River Journey. So I head
True.
straight there, no line. Get that done. Go over to Dinosaur, no line. I get that done out of the way, and then I go straight to Everest, no line. Three attractions right before breakfast, and I grab a nice little breakfast bowl at the Yak and Yeti Express as soon as it opens. so,
That's a good
you
morning right
know,
there already. I mean, you
yep,
got 3 rides
exactly,
and a good breakfast. I like it.
exactly. It's just you get a lot done right there.
Yeah, you
Um,
do.
so so now, like, once after breakfast, go to the bathroom, and then you're all good to go. I mean, and so you the safari ride might be long, but at least you got grub in your belly. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
know I got in line, so it's probably about 40-minute wait. Not too bad. So I got on the safari, and then after that I go on Rafiki's Planet Watch, and I go straight to the animation class.
Yeah.
I like the draw, and when I first discovered it, I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And you get to draw Disney characters. So so far, I've had I drew Scar from The Lion King, Ed from The Lion King, and Hyena, and Pan, which was like this um catfish monkey type character in Raya and the Last Dragon film. And but this trip I drew Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, nice. And well, and too, I'm glad you brought that up because I think a lot of folks don't even know that exists back in. And so, it's conservation station. So you go back,
Yeah,
you take the train, and the train itself is a neat experience because it's like a sideways sitting train. It's
yeah,
different than the train at the Magic Kingdom, and you get to see a few of the backstage places where the animals are kept at night. It's a neat little train ride. You know, a lot of people, if you ask them, is there a train at Animal Kingdom? They wouldn't know that. So I'm glad you threw
yeah,
that out there. Yeah, good tip.
yeah. So I like doing that. And after that, I head to the um I forget what it's called, but I just call it the Bird Show. And I was told by a couple of friends prior that the show wasn't good, but I didn't realize that they were talking about a previous show that involved characters from Pixar's Up.
Yep.
And so I went to the show expecting that, but it wasn't. It was just, just specialists talking about birds, and, birds all different shapes and sizes flying around you, doing tricks. It was really, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think if you don't like that kind of a show, it's kind of you're crazy because those birds do unbelievable things. So you could train birds to do stuff like that. I mean, their little heads are so small, their brains have to be the size of a pea, yet they're doing all these tricks. I mean, I don't know. I'm amazed by animals you can train like that. So I'm with you. I saw the one with the up characters too. I didn't care. I was still in it for the birds. Like I could care
Yeah,
less about the characters. I just want to see the birds do tricks.
exactly. It was a lot of fun. So after that, I was getting hungry again, so I hit the Satuli Canteen, and then was able to get on Flight of Passage. And I know I'm biased on this, but I still argue that I think Flight of Passage is the best ride on Disney property, at least in just Walt Disney World. And the reason is because it has everything involving what makes a good attraction all rolled into one. So it has a sense of adventure, excitement, and there's a little sense of danger, and get a little glimpse of calm, kind of like how the boat ride attractions do very well. It's got great music, the 3D visual, and just the scope. Your
Right.
field of vision is just so vast that you forget you're like side by side with people.
True.
And what's fun about that attraction is that every time I go on, I'm always with a group of people that have never been on the attraction, and they always ask me the same thing: "Is it worth it? Really? Is it worth it?"
Yeah.
I said, "You're gonna love it. You're going to love it." And then you just hear their laughter, their screams, and then once the ride is over, they look over and they're like, "You're all right. You're all right."
I love it. And the thing is, I'll talk about this. I don't do Flight of Passage often, if at all anymore, because I get kind of queasy on it, because I just
Yeah,
I can't do simulators. It just I've tried and Star Tours messes me up something fierce, and I am the biggest Star Wars fan. I've learned I can't do them. But I will say you're spot on about all the things this attraction brings to the table. It's gorgeous. It does. It makes you feel like you're teetering on, like I mean, you feel like you're immersed in the experience. Like you feel danger, even though you know you're safe. You're in a building. Like
yeah,
you're fixed on, you're not going anywhere, but you feel like oh my gosh, something's going to happen to me. It's got all that. It's got story, which is what Disney does well, and it immerses you. So you're exactly right. I mean, I get it. I know it's an outstanding attraction. It's just not every attraction is for every person. And unfortunately, it's not for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I left Animal Kingdom, took a shower, and got dressed, and I had good dinner at Chico at the Animal Kingdom
Man,
Lodge.
you're doing it right. 2 signature meals in 2 nights.
I don't mess around. I don't mess around with dining in Disney World. I tend to go to the best
I like it.
restaurants, and I have friends that make fun of me for it, but I don't mess around. I
Yeah.
go where the great food is.
That's why you're there. So, what'd you think of Chico? I've actually been to that one. Pam Forrester took me there.
Chico, I've been to multiple times, and I still consider it probably my favorite restaurant on property because it's the food is just so excellent, and it's and not only that, it's I tend not to do it in a lot of the restaurants I go to, but it's one of the few restaurants that I definitely have an appetizer, the entree, and dessert. Most of the time, if I'm at a different restaurant, I'll probably just have the entree and that's it, or maybe
Mhm.
just an appetizer. So it all depends. But Chico, whew, I always love going there and trying something new.
So, what would you recommend though? Because you've been there a few times. Is there one like give one entree? What do you think's the best there?
The short rib they have there. I think it's called the Botswana short rib. That is excellent. It was slightly different than what they had prior to the pandemic closing, but it's still excellent. I mean, you can't go wrong with it.
All right, so let's go to. So we've talked about. Here's what we'll do. We've talked about Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. So was the next day Epcot? So,
Yep.
okay, so let's talk about that day. Lots going on, I'm sure, over there. So walk us through that.
Now, I actually went to Epcot both days in a row. It's just
Okay.
that one was for a different purpose. So, like the first day, I went there just to get on the Cosmic Rewind attraction for the first time, and so I got a reservation for that at 11:30. So I hop over, got into Epcot by 9 o'clock, and I go on Spaceship Earth, and then I, hit Soarin', I hit um land, and I started get hungry, and it dawned on me, and right there I went, uh-oh, nothing opens until 11 o'clock. And so I started thinking of like, okay, there's got to be something in Epcot that opens right now for breakfast, and I'm just, no, nothing's open right now. And so like I just literally just go everywhere around Epcot that I could possibly think of, and I'm like, someone's got to be serving food. So I hop over to France at one point. Like,
France is where to go. They do serve
yeah,
breakfast.
and I'm thinking like, oh man, they got to be serving crepes or something right
Croissants,
now.
croissants. Yeah,
Nope. And nope, they were
they
not
weren't.
open. They were
I've
not
gotten
open
breakfast there,
until
but
11
okay,
o'clock.
they used to because I used to always get breakfast there. I
Oh,
know I've gotten breakfast in France.
but luck would have it, since it was Flower and Garden Festival, um, there was a booth after Morocco, and I cannot remember the name of it. I don't know what it was on the plate, but it had a fried egg on it. That was the only difference.
That's
So they
breakfast.
were basically serving a breakfast dish. And so I said, fine by me. And so I
Yeah.
grabbed two of them, and they hit the spot. It, made everything all better.
Oh yeah. Protein. That's all you
Yeah,
need. Gotta keep moving. I like
exactly.
it. We think just alike. It's an egg. It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
it's fancy. It's an egg. Two of them,
And
please.
so since I was right there, I was like, oh, I'll just go on Ratatouille right now. And I had plenty of time, so I was in line for that. But that's a fun attraction. I'm actually glad that they kept like a little bit of French speaking within the attraction,
Mhm.
just like they have in Paris. So that was a cool detail caught right there. And so after that, I head over to Cosmic Rewind, and the song that came on could not have been any more perfect, and I think they should just limit certain songs for this attraction. And it was A Flock of Seagulls, I Ran.
There you go.
That song matched so
Yeah.
perfectly. At one point, like I was just like, head banging and waving my fists in the air. I said, this is so much fun.
It
And
does.
so after that, I got onto a couple of other booths around World Showcase. Got a little lunch, and that was it for that day for Epcot. Because later on, for dinner, I hop over to Disney Springs and I eat at Wine Bar George. And again, another restaurant that you hear so many good things about, and you just I'll get there eventually. And then you kick yourself for not getting there sooner because, yeah, the food there was so great. And I ordered it was like a kind of like something on fire. I forget what it was. It's kind of like a melted cheese, and they give you like these little toasted baguette slices, and you just dip in. Oh man, that was delicious. And I think I met up with a buddy of mine that actually works at Amorette's. So hi, Ruben.
Hey, Ruben.
And we chilled there for a while, and then we had a good time of hanging out at the Edison, watching some good jazz music, and didn't realize that at one point we were like listening to the song, and he's looking at me and he goes, "Is she singing Lady Gaga?" And oh, she's singing Lady. Oh, wow! And so it just dawned on us of like, oh wow, they're singing modern songs just in that 1940s esque
Right.
vibe. So it was, very fitting. It was a really cool night.
Baseline Tap House does that to you too. Like if you ever go there and hang out, they have like that real
Oh
chill,
yeah, yeah,
like almost like elevator music, but it'll be like a current like hip hop song that you're literally
yeah,
like, is that like Nelly? But it's like a jazz piano or something.
yeah,
It's the
exactly. Yeah,
weirdest thing
I
'cause you're like,
remember
I
that.
know
Yeah.
this song, but it doesn't make sense for them, but it's awesome. That reminded me of that because Scott and I are both like, what is that song? That's like Nelly, but it's like smooth jazz. Yeah,
And then you
right?
just want to get on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
cool.
you
You
want to get on
decide,
Shazam, and then
yeah,
like, where can
exactly.
I
Like,
get
what
this
is
album?
this? You're cracking me up. All right, so did you go back to Epcot the next day though, like with a different goal? Actually, real quick,
Yep.
let me ask you this.
Well, the
Real quick, no, real quick before we go to the next day. Cosmic Rewind, where you said Flight of Passage, you're still your favorite.
yeah.
Where do you put Cosmic Rewind kind of in the ranking of attractions now at Disney? Because you're obviously a Disney nut, you know all the stuff.
Yeah. I think I would put that ride in number. See, it's hard to tell because
Like a
all of a
top
sudden
five?
like other great rides start popping in my mind and that I consider favorites. But in terms of overall experience, I would probably put that in like in
Okay.
number 3 or 4 around that
It's like a
area.
top five. That works.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. I'm just curious about before we jumped
No,
away
it's
from
all
it.
right. Yeah. So the next day, I go to Epcot all day, but this time I actually did eat breakfast at Whispering Canyon Cafe, so I didn't, have that mistake again. And so, I go on, Spaceship Earth again because I love that ride. It's just,
Thing.
it's just listening to Judy Dench's voice, and you just kick back, relax, look at everything, and
That's
it's a.
I fall asleep though. I one time the universe got even with me because I had my sunglasses on top of my head, and then I fell asleep during the ride. My head went back, and my sunglasses right
Oh,
off the back of the car. See you later, sunglasses. So
yeah,
that's what you get when you don't pay attention on
yeah,
Spaceship Earth. You lose your
and
Target sunglasses that cost $17.
well, not a total loss.
No, they were cheap. That's why I buy the cheap ones because I can't keep them longer than a couple weeks. No,
Yeah,
but you're right. It's a classic. I don't always fall asleep, but I'm usually exhausted when I'm at Walt Disney World for the most part.
yeah, right. For my goals at this part, going to Epcot, I definitely want to have lunch and dinner. So I had lunch for the first time at Rose and Crown. Um, so And already had my heart set on like the bangers and mash, but as soon
Mhm.
as I sat down, I don't know why, I just like my appetite suddenly changed. I was like, you know what? I want to go for the burger. But then I'm like thinking like it's probably not going to be that good. It's probably just going to be a basic Disney burger. But I was wrong. That was
Oh,
that burger was a lot better than I was expecting it to be. It was good size. It was juicy. I was like, yeah, all right, this
I like
actually
to hear that.
really hit the spot. Um, and then I hit Cosmic Rewind again. But this time, uh, the song that played in the background was Tears for Fears. Everybody wants to rule the world. Now, this comes to the realization that music does count a lot when it comes to these attractions because when that song came on, it didn't seem as exciting as the first experience. It seemed more like mellow.
It is a more,
It-
but see,
yeah,
I got when I did it at the media thing when I went, I got September by Earth, Wind and Fire, and that song is really upbeat. It's it's like it's my jam.
yeah,
I love Earth, Wind and Fire, and so when that thing started firing up and we're blasting out of the station, I'm like, oh, it's a party! Like I got my brass section riding with me. It was just unreal. But that's a great point.
yeah.
The music sets the tone for the whole experience.
Yeah, so because like Tears of Fears, I mean, it's a very chill song.
It
So
is.
we're all just going along the ride like this gentle wave, and it's like,
That's a good
wow,
point.
this roller coaster seems slower now. What's going on?
That's a great point. Oh man, I didn't think of that. I love it.
Yeah. And so later that night though, I did have dinner at Beer Garden and got to see the show. The good old German polka band. I love watching those guys, and just having so much fun, and it's just sad that the children, the kids can't go to the main floor area and continue on dancing along with the music like they used to. Like the kids really dig the music,
I agree.
but unfortunately, they had the whole floor to the band. But still, great show, great food, and after that, got into place to watch Harmonious. So I was in the very front, in the very center, and I, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people seem to like it, or some, and there are a lot of people that didn't, and I'm kind of 50-50 on it because those barges they did incredible things. They really did put on a great show.
Mhm.
I just thought the problem was the subject matter because there was like one of the great opinions that I saw on social media at one point probably said it best that fits to my opinion is that Harmonious seemed like a child's birthday party, Disney themed, but no one shows up.
Ouch. That's
Yeah, it's just because, like, when you watch Harmonious, I mean, at some point, they're like, there's the Jungle Book and the Lion King being played, and it's like, well, where in Epcot is there the Jungle Book or the Lion King? This is odd. So
that's true. But see,
it
I
just
thought
seemed
you
like a
might like
random
it.
shuffled playlist
It
that
I
they,
agree. I agree with you. It's almost like World of Color in a way out of Disney, out of California Adventure.
uh,
Because I mean, but again, World of Color is in a park where it's not like into a like this worldly theme. Like Showcase Lagoon has a certain feel to it, right? It's about this global village. I think Illuminations kind of set the tone for that, and I think
yeah,
hardcore old fans kind of want to continue that because Illuminations celebrated the world, all these countries are around it. You see the backgrounds, the silhouettes of all the countries during the show. You used to see that. I think we're still hooked on to that. Where Harmonious, though, I thought you might like it because at the top of the show, how you said you had that affinity for the movies. That's what kind of drew you in
yeah,
as a movie fan. And I think I didn't like Harmonious because I don't watch the movies. So I
yeah,
thought totally not my thing. I've never seen Coco. I've never seen Encanto or any of those. I've never seen Inside Out. So I don't know any of these characters. I don't know the music. So and I'm not the demographic, right? 90% of the people there have seen those, and that's why they're showing it. I get it.
yeah. And
But
but it's like when something like Harmonious was there, I mean, I was expecting, this would fit a lot better if it was in Magic Kingdom right now.
yeah,
But you know, but maybe next show, whatever they create, surprises us all. So we'll
I
just
agree.
wait and see.
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready to see what I'm always excited. I hope it has. Yeah, my whole thing. I hope the next thing has drones because I was there when they did the drones at Disney Springs, and those things. I mean, there's only a few things in my life that I've seen in person that like totally like made my head almost explode. And when I saw those drones that first time at Disney Springs, it was like 5 or 6 years ago at this point. I couldn't believe it. Like
Yeah.
now like I know the Dodgers, like the LA Dodgers, I saw on social media today. They're going to do drones every Friday night instead of fireworks. They're going to do a drone show,
All right.
and I think Disneyland Paris has a drone show. And I mean, the stuff you can draw in the sky with drones is unbelievable. Like it's
Yeah.
silent. It's like it's like I can't believe it. Like it's jaw dropping. And I know you got to watch it with flying them over people and stuff, but they did it at Disney Springs, and I think they can do it at Epcot. I hope that comes because I think it's limitless, because it's just programming. But we'll
Well,
see.
if you think about it, they had Epcot Forever with kites, so they're almost
It's
there.
true.
They're
Well,
almost there.
kites didn't work out so well over at Animal Kingdom.
That's true. That's true.
That's true. They didn't work out well at Epcot either. They were there and then they were gone.
Yeah.
Maybe kites. We should leave to the 20th century. I don't know. We'll see. You're cracking me up. So we're running a little short. We got about 10 minutes left. So give us a few more highlights from the trip.
So the next day actually was probably my favorite day because I considered it, resort relaxation day, but I didn't do it at Wilderness Lodge. I actually did it at Polynesian.
Nice.
So I arrived there at Polynesian, and I walked around. I did the long walk around Grand Floridian, and it was funny because on the way there, I was probably next to the DVC Villas building, and they had this weird stage where like the Mad Hatter and Alice from Alice in Wonderland are like performing something, and there's a couple of cameras around, and I'm just looking around like, okay, what's going on? And nothing seems to be happening. So I just shrugged it off and I just went, all right. So got the Polynesian, got my Tonga toast, hashtag Tonga toast for life. Can't
Nice.
can't go wrong with that. And yep. And so I actually went over to the Dolphin Resort and got a massage. Um, um, Sorry, Grand Floridian. They offered a better price.
Yeah.
You got it. You got to get what you can get.
Oh, I'm 100% with you there. I totally agree.
Yeah. So I go back to the Polynesian though for lunch and got in line for Trader Sam's. So I was actually able to get inside for that and met a couple from the United Kingdom, and they were fun to talk to. And obviously, I don't know why it is, but I seem to always encounter someone from the United Kingdom at Trader Sam's. It's very bizarre, but I don't know. Maybe next time I'll meet someone from Australia, or
Who knows?
who knows.
It's a riot. Yeah, who knows?
Um, so I actually had dinner reservations at Ohana, so I still had plenty of time. So like what you told me before, I actually took a nap there at the main lobby, and so when I woke up, I quick got upstairs and checked in, and I just looked at my YouTube feed, and little behold, there's a promotion video for the DVC Villas at the Grand Floridian starring the Mad Hatter and
Yep.
Alice.
Yep.
So I was literally watching the recording of that promotion earlier in the day, and I didn't even realize what they were doing until I actually saw the video. I said, "Ha! I was there. I saw it live. Awesome."
I was gonna say it was either that or there's a commercial right now I see on TV a lot where it features a lot of footage at the Grand Floridian with like stormtroopers walking through the lobby and air like mermaids swimming in the pool.
Yeah,
Like, it's all based at the Grand Floridian. So I thought maybe that was part of that commercial and maybe they cut it because I don't think that's in there. But yeah, that's definitely probably what. Yeah, that's interesting. You got to see that. Then you got to see it right there on YouTube, man. That's
yeah.
solved your mystery.
Yeah, exactly. I this is Ohana, so this is my first time there, and it's sad that I was by myself because I was really not prepared to what they were actually going to serve. Like I knew they were going to serve family meal, but it's like I didn't know how many dishes they were going to actually send out to you, and so
I didn't
like
think about I didn't think about Ohana because it's family style. And if you're solo, man,
yeah.
you're probably sitting there like you're the king of I don't
Yeah,
know England. There, they're
yeah,
bringing you all
I just really wanted to get a sense of like how the food was because I always hear
that's
the food is
wild.
great, and so I was just like, I might as well. I mean, because like Disney fans fought for those Ohana noodles to come
Yeah,
back, so
that's true.
I had to give them a try,
Right.
and everything was excellent. I just, whew, yeah, definitely probably filled me up to the next day if it kept on
Pain.
going, but
I hear you.
So after that, I got on the monorail, hopped over to Magic Kingdom again, but this time I go on attractions that seem to fit better at night. So I go on the People Mover, and then I hit Space Mountain, and then I go over to Laugh Floor, um, and I was right in front of that guy.
Yeah. At
So,
least it wasn't you. I've been that guy.
oh,
It's
nice.
all right. It's all right. Everybody the rest of the night though sees you like, there's that guy. Like you'll be over by the Haunted Mansion outside the park. Somebody be like, hey guy, you're that guy. I'm like, yeah, I'm still that guy. Thanks.
Yeah, and um, and then I go to one of my all-time favorites, the Tiki Room, and I know that a lot of people don't like it because but I love the Tiki Room. It's just I love the Tiki vibe,
Mhm.
the sounds. I mean, the sound quality is still good in my opinion, even to today's standards. It's colorful and it's just it's nice and relaxing. It just fits so well at nighttime. And then I got to the front entrance area and got picked a spot to watch Enchanted. That was the fireworks show that they just changed, right? It
Yep.
was
Enchantment, I think.
oh,
Yeah.
Enchantment. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I saw that and it was okay. I just it seemed again like that the show itself with their selection of music, it didn't seem like it was structured well as the previous fireworks show was. So it seemed like again it was just like a shuffled playlist on just the big collection of Disney songs, and then but hey, in the end, it's still a fireworks show. It's still Disney. I
Right.
mean, so you you really can't go wrong.
I gotcha. That's it. So we're just about out of time. So we got to wrap this. But I mean, you got to let me ask you the question that I didn't get to ask you earlier. So you did all this time. You did a couple days in Epcot, Magic Kingdom, a couple times, Animal Kingdom. Why no studios though? You said you had a reason. Why no studios?
The reason is because I've been there a bunch of times, even solo trips before, but it seems, with my experience, that Hollywood Studios is a lot better of an experience when you are with a group of people,
Okay.
either with friends or family. Because if you think about it, like all these attractions have some form of, collective fun with a group. When you think of Tower of Terror, you always want, you think of faces to make during the drops.
That's
Rock
true.
and Roller Coaster. There's a better replay value with friends when you go on Smuggler's Run or Toy Story Mania.
Mhm.
And same thing with Rise of Resistance. So like all these attractions, I just think like, it's if I was with a group of people, I would be in that park in a heartbeat. But just by yourself, it's not the same experience, unfortunately. But
That's a good point. No, that totally makes it. Even though I will say my best ever ride, except for the first time I took Mallory on Rocket Roller Coaster, that was my best ride ever because she freaked out. She had no idea how fast that thing was.
exactly.
The best picture ever. But the second best ride I think ever I had took on that was I think it was Marathon 2018. I was coming around the corner at mile 23, and I decided this was still when they had Fast Pass. So I jumped. I talked to the cast member. I said, "Can I get in the fast? Is it a Fast Pass or single rider?" I was like, "I'm still in the race, but I just want to ride this ride before I go to the finish line." She's like, "Okay, fine. Don't tell anybody." So she let me, I went right on the ride, and so I jump in the single ride. It was single rider. Got in the single rider. So I'm riding with this guy. He didn't even speak English. So they put me partnered up with this dude that doesn't even speak English. I'm with all these other people that are just guests. And here I am 23 miles in, and it was hot that day. I got my sweaty shirt on, I got my number on, and the people behind me are like, are you running the marathon, sir? I'm like, yes. And they're like, why are you on this run?
and 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 true story, me and my friend were on in line for Tower of Terror during the marathon, and a runner just came out of nowhere and just jumped in line right next to us,
That's awesome.
and he just tells us that his goal was to go on at least one ride at each park. So
Yeah.
this was at Hollywood Studios, so I'm just like, wow, he's almost done.
Yeah, I did Everest a couple years, but then that year I did Rock and Roller Coaster, and it was just so funny because the guy I sitting next to, like I said, didn't speak English, but he was just grinning from ear to ear at me,
Yep.
just like, what is going on? Like, but next, and I knew I probably smelled terrible, right? Because it was hot and I've been running for 23 miles. I felt terrible and I wanted the picture. But oh my gosh, this trip has really brought back so many good memories for me. And let me just tell you, you've given me great ideas for my dining for July when we get to go back with my family. So
Excellent.
Sean, I appreciate the time. Thanks for hopping on with us. What a way to start the week. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Don't forget our podcast is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out today for all your Disney trip planning needs. The agents are standing by right now to help you plan that great Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And a sincere thank you to the patrons of the Be Our Guest Podcast. You make all these shows possible. Couldn't do it without you. And our patrons get that bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. If you'd like to join us, we'd sure love to have you. Come on over, patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcasts. Give me a follow on the social media. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike on Instagram and Twitter. I have all my pictures up from this past weekend at Disneyland, so check that out. And of course, join us this Sunday night coming up in just 6 short days. We'll be live on Facebook and YouTube at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central with the phone lines wide open so you can be a part of the show. All right, we're going to jump out of here and let you get on with your week. But thanks for jumping in and starting another great work week with us here. And we'll be back in on Wednesday with more of your listener questions. And on Friday, I'll give you more highlights from Disneyland. All right, so for Sean, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Oops. All right, thanks, Sean. I appreciate it. It was a great show. So, man, but you got me, and I just got done eating before this, but I'm hungry again now. I'm gonna get a snack.
Yep. When I think of good food, I just like, oh God, I wish I was back in Chico right now.
Dude, you kill it. I'm telling you, man. I was like, holy cow. And Satuli, I mean, even Satuli Canteen, and oh man. You go to some of my favorite places. Yak and Yeti is another good place, the counter service.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a long time, but yeah, I remember the air conditioning was so intense in there at one point, and like you just started freezing, and it's like, oh God, I actually want to go outside right now. And then you go outside, and it's like it's like icy hot, like it just like stormed in your face, and like
I remember because we sat upstairs one time, we're like, it's freezing in this place, and it was 100 degrees outside. We're like, you're either gonna die of the heat or freeze to death.
Exactly.
All right, well, I got to roll. I'm going to edit this and put this up, but it'll be out on Monday. And great talking to you guys. Take care out in New Jersey.
All right. Thank you so much.
Hey, buddy. Thank you again. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye.